other providers, because they're normally HGV, etc., they do the other categories, they can do driving.
Yeah.
They can do hitching up, but they can't do living. I think that's what sets me aside what I do. My husband will always say, what makes my business is me.
Yeah.
Because I'm female in a very male-dominated world. I'm not selling the lifestyle. I'm sharing the lifestyle because I live it and I absolutely love it. And so it comes across in all my training.
Yeah.
And I can't think what the saying is. If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life again. Well, that's what it feels like.
Hi and welcome to Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. This podcast is specifically for business owners or wannabe business owners. Say you've got a side hustle or you've got a passion for something and you think it'd be absolutely amazing, or you see people that do amazing things with their passions and what they enjoy doing. Well, you can do that. So please subscribe and we hope you enjoy listening to this episode. Hi and welcome to Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. Now, today I'm really excited that I've got a guest on who is a really good friend as well, and she's been in business for, well, I'll let her fill you in, but I love what she does because it's really niche, really unusual. We've done some social media stuff together and she's grasped it with both hands, and she's going to overtake me and soon to be a YouTube superstar. Flis Spink of Felicitys Driver Training.
Oh, thank you. Oh, God, that was an intro and a half. Thank you for having me.
That's all right. No worries. So tell us all, what is your business? Because you're Felicitys Driver Training, but you're not a driving school.
No.
So what do you do?
Right. So I'm very niche, as you've already said. I teach people to tow caravans, tow trailers, and drive motorhomes.
Nice.
So it's predominantly around the leisure vehicle industry.
Yeah.
But since the abolition of the B+E trailer test, I have started going into companies and doing trailer assessments.
So just explain that in my terms, because I remember you posting about it, and now is it that you, like, I can just get in and tow something without...
Yes. Yes, this is the wonderful...
Because we didn't have enough caravans and all their stuff across the motorways already.
No. So what they did, the government, and I'm Grant Shapps, thanks mate, decided in his infinite wisdom to scrap the B+E trailer test. So up until 2001, if you wanted to tow anything over 3.5 tonne combined weight, you had to do a trailer test.
Yeah.
So people would come to me, take between 1 and 3 days. I would train them, and then I would take them to the test, and they would have to do a manoeuvre, do a driving test, and 9 times out of 10 came away with a licence first time. So that got scrapped. Various reasons were put forward as to why, but predominantly they wanted to try and free up driving tests for lorry drivers, because we all had to do a commercial test. So there would be... I used to work from Ipswich, and there would be 30 plus training providers fighting for 15 to 20 tests a week.
Ooh.
So, and that was van, trailer, van and trailer, minibus and trailer, rigid lorry and articulated lorry.
Oh, wow.
So, and then car tests were always separate. So you had a lot of categories fighting for not a lot of tests.
Yeah.
And because of the B+E, everybody wanted to be able to tow a caravan or tow a car trailer. That was the big segment. So they thought, I know, we'll take that away and then there'll be more tests.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite worked out like that.
Shocker.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
The idea was to put more lorry drivers. Do you remember we had the lorry driver crisis? Well, it was all around the lorry driver crisis, and it was to try and put more lorry drivers on the road and give them access to the test. It was nothing to do with that.
Okay.
They hadn't clocked that nobody wanted to be a lorry driver because it is a really hard job.
Yeah.
And it's not looked after as an industry. The lorry drivers, we're taking away their truck stops, we're taking away the places for them to stop. Thus, they're forced to park on industrial estates, and then we have the littering problems, etc., etc. So it didn't fix the problem at all. And it then said that you could, the law then changed, 16th of December 2001, that you could then tow, using up to 3.5 ton vehicle, you could tow up to 3.5 ton trailer. So you could be 7 ton train weight with no training whatsoever.
Brilliant.
I know. So,
Has there been an increase in, so I've gone down to Devon and Cornwall every year since I was day dot. My family's from Cornwall, and you could guarantee you'd go past a caravan that's gone sideways with all its stuff all over the motorway. Those poor family, a holiday's ruined. So do you know if there's been a trend in increase of?
This was asked quite recently, actually, on another podcast that I follow, and the government at the moment are not putting out any stats. There's nothing
Funny
concrete.
that. Because it was their decision.
To be
a surprise.
fair, I don't think there's a massive increase.
No.
A lot of because you could tow 3 ton train weight.
Yeah.
You can get a Ford Cougar like I've got, and an average size family caravan that would come under that.
Oh, okay.
So actually a lot of stuff could happen,
Yeah.
and they were legal to be there in the first place.
Right, okay.
Most accidents are caused by poor loading and speed.
Okay, yeah.
They're the biggies, and even if you've passed the test,
Yeah.
people still put their foot down. So
And do you teach loading and speed as well? Is that all part of everything?
that's all part of it. That's all part of it. But I am finding that the majority of people that are coming to me for training are people that would have had the grandfather rights anyway.
Okay.
So it is the younger generation that have actually gone, hey, I don't need to do a test, that are hooking up and going without seeking training. Those that are coming to me tend to be people that have invested in a caravan.
Yeah.
So because of lockdown, no one could fly, so everyone was buying caravans for £1,000, £1,500. Let's paint it inside, let's put chintzy bunting up, and we'll go away in a caravan.
Yeah.
And they weren't seeking training.
Yeah.
Whereas those that have brought a brand new caravan, which are now
Spent a lot of
retailing
money.
at 35 to 55k for a caravan, they're the ones seeking the training, because in their mind,
Precious cargo.
exactly, investing a few £100s with me for a day's
Yeah.
course, they're going, I know what I'm doing now, and I'm going to
Yeah.
protect that asset.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm finding. But I can now step back. I mean, if you'd have asked me September 2001 when this announcement was made, I was actually working on a motorhome show, parking campers up, and the news broke, and they suspended everything for 2 months until they changed the law. 3 months till they changed the law. And I literally watched my business go down the pan.
Yeah.
And I sat in this field crying. And I'm directing motorhomes, going, go and park down there, because I was just, my business was in tatters.
Yeah.
I had to do so many refunds, and it was awful. But I then went and got the training caravan,
Yeah.
and I haven't looked back. And this training caravan's done more miles than any caravan I've ever known.
Oh, really?
And I'm not missing fighting for a driving test. I'm not missing having to sit at a test centre for hours on end, hoping that everything comes back in one piece and a pass. I haven't got that stress anymore.
No.
And I'm not governed by the DVSA, because I used to have to get up twice a week at 6 o'clock in the morning so I could log onto the system and fight for a test. And then once I had that test, I'm then trying to find a person that can do that date. And it was a logistical nightmare, so I'm not missing that at all.
Yeah. So to be fair, it's kind of taken that stress away and made it a bit easier.
It has. And it's allowed me now, which I'm sure we'll talk about as time goes on, it's allowed me to diversify more and think differently about this business and make it even more niche. Because there was quite a lot of trailer instructors.
Yeah.
Because I won't lie, if you got a string of farmers who all knew each other, 20, 21 years old, it was easy money.
Yeah.
Because they could reverse a trailer better than I can.
Yeah.
So it was literally making sure they could satisfy the requirements of a test,
Yeah.
which goes against what I believe in, but unfortunately it was a tick box exercise, because they'd been towing since they were probably before they could even drive.
Probably about 12.
Exactly. So it was for some candidates, it was easy money. So I feel now that I'm actually teaching again, and I'm actually imparting my knowledge and people are listening and taking it on board.
Well, it's people that really want to do it for a reason because they're
Yeah.
protecting their...
Yeah.
Well, it's an asset, isn't it? At the
It
end
is.
of the day, that's a lot of cash to spend on something.
Yeah. And you can
look
always
after.
you can always tell when I used to get people come and do the trailer test because their work had put them for it. They didn't want to be there.
No.
And they were
Have
hard
to
work.
be there.
But
yeah.
those that came along going, oh, we want to buy a caravan.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
they were just like sponges.
Yeah.
So now I'm only doing caravan stuff really
Yeah.
with the towing aspect. They're all sponges.
Yeah.
And even the assessment stuff, you know, I'm going into companies and they will say, right, they're already towing. So I say, right, okay. So I'll meet the candidates and they go, oh, yeah. I went, no. No, I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs. Show me what you can do.
Yeah.
This is a health check. I said, I'm not standing there with a clipboard or anything like
No.
that. I want to see what you can do. If I can offer you any hints and tips to make you a bit safer,
Yeah.
I will do. And then I write it up and it goes on your training file.
Yeah.
And you see them instantly relax because they think you're there to grill them
Yeah.
and make them do things that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
don't normally
yeah.
do. And as long as it's not safe, I'm not about to rewrite
No.
things for them. So, it works out well.
Oh, I love that because it's funny, isn't it? Because I assume because I don't. Well, one thing people don't know that your driving license has an expiry date.
Mm-hmm.
Did check mine's next year, so we're all good. It's a bit like when I go to check my MOT, and I'm like, oh, that's not coming up soon. And then also the back of it to tell you what you can and can't drive.
Yeah.
So I had in my head traditionally I could drive anything. And it's not until you look at it, you're like, oh, no, I can't. Can
No,
I
you need to be
anymore?
as old as me to drive anything.
Yeah, and I'm 21, so... so I can't drive anything but a car.
Oh.
But yeah, you just don't know Who
You
tells
don't know.
you that?
No.
Who tells you that?
You don't. And I've actually had 2 customers of mine from the trailers ring me in the last few weeks because they've been stopped in Norfolk. And I think there's a misinformed police officer on the borders of Norfolk. What I would say, and as this is going to go out, and what I would say is those of you that don't have B+E on your licence now, if you do go on the Gov website and view my licence, it will ask you for your driving licence number, national insurance number and postcode. It will then bring up your driving record.
Oh, okay.
And on there, there'll be a big blurb at the beginning saying that you do have B&E,
Okay.
even if it's not on your photo card.
Yeah.
When you next renew that photo card, be it because the 10 years are up, you've changed your name or you move house, it will come back with it on there automatically. Okay. But if anyone is thinking of towing abroad before they need to update it, change name or change address, you need to change it.
So you have to have it on there.
Yes, because let's go the French. The French
Yeah.
gendarmes do not have access to our DVLA system
Yeah.
to go, oh, it's okay, it's not on your card, but I can see it's on the digital
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
And my French is not good enough to try and explain that either.
Yeah.
So if you are going to go abroad, just update your licence so that the B&E is showing on there. But
What does B&E stand for?
it's car, so B+E. B is category for the car,
Okay.
and E is the category for the trailer, so B+E.
Okay.
Car plus trailer.
Did not know that.
There you go.
I'm like every day school day, innit? Not that we've got a camper van, so not that I've ever towed. I don't think I've ever towed anything. I like the fact that we could actually put my little smart car on the back of it. Then we can tow that down.
That's reverse caravanning.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That.
That's reverse
You see
caravan.
them all go down. They either have them sideways on the back or they proper tow them, don't they? And they've got this massive motorhome and this tiny little smart car, which around the Devon and Cornish lanes, I see their point.
And it does have its place, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. You know, there's places we go, and because we've got a motorhome, and I'd love to have access to a vehicle.
Yeah.
But if it got that bad that I felt I needed a vehicle, I'd invest in a really nice caravan
Yeah.
and vehicle for less money.
So, tell me, why did you start your own business?
Right, well, I've got
What's your story?
I've got to go back a bit.
Tell me story.
Right then. Well, 12 years ago, I was made redundant. I took voluntary redundancy from Suffolk Constabulary,
Oh, okay.
where I was the training manager.
Yeah.
So I took the voluntary redundancy because Norfolk and Suffolk police were starting to get into bed together with a lot of the functions.
Right.
So training was merging, HR, payroll, finance. It made sense.
Yeah.
And there was a risk that my job was going to get merged and I would be commuting between Sudbury to Martlesham, where headquarters was, and also Sudbury to Wyndham, where Norfolk is.
Oh, no one wants
And
to
I
do
was
that.
like, no, I didn't fancy that. So they said, we're looking for voluntary redundancies. I went, oh, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I left. And I'd always had this hankering to be a driving instructor. And I'd done a bit of research, and it seemed to be you had to have a franchise and go with one of the big schools and they would train you. But I was also hearing horror stories about that.
Yeah.
So I found this independent guy, Tony Biased, down in Braintree, and he taught me to be an instructor.
Yeah.
He put me through. And as we're starting to get near completion of my training, we obviously then started to talk about how I was going to run the business. And there was a guy who's still a friend of mine who was trying to start up a bit of a franchise himself. And Tony would say to me, no, you don't need that. You're going to be independent. I'm going, well, I don't know what to do. You'll be fine. You're going independent. So once I qualified, I got a website and I did little postcards to put in the shops.
Nice.
And I got some business cards and I got the car liveried.
Yeah.
And it was a good friend of mine that came up with the name, because I was coming up with all these smart driver training and all these other things. And he went, why don't you just call it Felicity's and make the L and L plate? And I went, well, yeah, I suppose that's...
I can do that.
That's an obvious thing. So that's where Felicitys Driver Training came from. And then the car was branded, and all the colouring, all the light blue, is because I had an Avalon blue Ford Focus. So I got the car first because I needed that for training. And and I just love the colour. So that's where the blue sort of has followed me through. But I always wanted to do something for myself, because I won't lie, and those that know me, Suffolk Police nearly killed me. There was the amount of work and the pressure.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what, if I'm going to drive myself into the ground, it's going to be through my choice.
Yeah, on my own terms.
On my own terms. I mean, you know what it's like running your own business. Oh, it's great. You have all this flexible time. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just always working.
Yeah, literally 24/7.
But that's my choice.
Yeah. And it's for your benefit as well. You're not doing it. It's like because I took voluntary when they moved Green King managed pubs from Bury St Edmunds to Burton-on-Trent, similar to you. Ain't no one want to go to Burton-on-Trent. There's nothing there. And so I put my hand up. Yep, I'll take voluntary. But at the same time, so it was that thing of, we took voluntary redundancy, so you obviously get some money. And I was like, do you know what? My excuse had always been to not start my own business was money. So I was like, right, I've got some money. I put my money, and I'm making money for me. So if I want to work 24/7, that's me, my own terms, and I'm doing it for me. I was working till 11 o'clock at night for someone else. You don't get paid overtime for those extra hours.
No, not when you're salaried. You get nothing, do you?
Yeah.
No, and that was a big thing for me. And once I qualified, I was charging all over the place. I was working in Sudbury, but I picked up customers in Haverhill, Braintree, Chelmsford. And that was mainly through recommendations and things. So I was charging around, but I noticed then after that first year, I could start being more picky.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to work 7 days a week, and I could start choosing more of my hours. And I got it down. And I did that for about 3 or 4 years. I think it was about that. Because my husband always said to me, stick it out in the police, because he was retiring.
Yeah.
And the plan was to go travelling. And he said, you've only got 3 years to go. And I went, I can't last 3 years.
No.
So I then put that in.
Says a lot, doesn't it?
It is. So I then put it into the driving school and had a great 3 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. And then we packed everything up to go travelling for a year in the motorhome. And when I came back, I kept my badge, but when I came back, I thought, I don't want to get into learners because, one, they try and kill you. Two...
Brilliant.
We're
doing a whole podcast on stories. What happened with learners?
They muck you about.
Yeah.
And also they tie you up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and having been travelling we now had a taste for this.
Yeah.
So I wanted something that was more flexible. So the guy that taught me to be an instructor, so he does come back into the story again, Tony.
He's back.
He's like, get a trailer. I've got a trailer, get a trailer. I was like, yeah. Get a trailer. You can tow a caravan, get a trailer. Do the B+C. I was like, oh. And eventually I caved and went and bought a trailer. And I had a little bit of help from him, but I mainly did all the research myself of what I needed to do. And my first couple of pupils, they did pay me, but the deal was if they failed the test because of something I hadn't taught them, I would cover any retests, etc.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen, and it just went mad.
Yeah.
And didn't stop. And my best ever year was actually COVID year.
Yeah.
Considering we couldn't work
Yeah.
the whole year, when we could work,
Yeah.
everybody wanted a caravan because they couldn't
Yeah.
go away, and I literally didn't stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my best year. So yeah, and then after that I got the caravan. A mate of mine was doing that. He'd got a second-hand caravan. He said, Flis, you need a caravan.
Yeah.
I said, I've been bullied like this before.
Yeah. Been here, done
Been
that.
here.
But it did pay off, so.
And I had, there's a dealership in the Midlands called Broad Lane Leisure, friends of mine, and I just said, look, I've got a couple of grand, what can you do for me? Yeah. And they got me this cracking little caravan. I'm sure they made a loss on it, bless them, but they were so good to me. And so, yeah, I've then been doing all the caravan courses.
Nice.
And haven't stopped.
And now you're like face of caravan. To me, you're the face of caravanning. The fact I went to a what I call a proper campsite, what they called with the pool and everything else, whereas I just gutted your posters and your face went there.
Yeah, they won't be.
Rude.
Commercial
Campsite.
I'm on Camping and Caravanning Club. That's where I'm the poster girl for the Camping and Caravanning Club. And I'm their lead instructor.
Yeah.
So I got into that just as around the time we started travelling. So I became an instructor and then got promoted. So I get involved in developing their courses, and then I'm in charge of running them on the weekend and just herding the instructors. That's the easiest way to describe it, because I love them all to pieces, but it is like herding cats sometimes.
Yeah.
And so we do confidence builder sessions, caravans and motorhomes for them. And then that's led into doing stuff at the NEC, where we offer free towing with the club again.
Yeah.
And then that's led into them asking me to speak on stage at the NEC in my club uniform.
It's like famous.
And it's just spiralling from there.
Yeah.
And thanks to you with the social media help, I'm getting noticed, and I'm starting to speak to other influencers on social media. Not all of them, because I do have opinions on some.
But you've got to do what's right for you at the end of the day. A, go with gut instinct, and B, what fits your brand.
Yeah.
Because we've had the conversation before where with what you do, it's a lot about safety, and there are people out there that think they know and they've done all right, but they've probably done all right because they've been lucky, I think is fair to say.
Exactly.
But actually, if something went wrong, there's no comeback on that, because there's proper channels.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no longer legal channels, but there's still safety and proper channels, I think it's fair to say. So how many hats do you have now?
Okay. I do. Do you remember when we were doing the social media, we said it would be really good if I did I see, I'm struggling.
The transformation.
Well, you jump in and you changed your outfits.
Yeah.
I've yet to do it, but there would be.
There's one for the winter.
There would be several shots. I've got obviously my blue uniform, Felicitys Driver Training.
Yeah.
I've got a red uniform, which is Camping and Caravanning Club. I've also got a green uniform, which is Rural Coffee Caravan. That's my voluntary role. So that's me giving back to the community.
Yeah.
We tow their caravan to remote rural areas and hold coffee mornings, just to engage with the public. And it's a bit like an informal citizens' advice on wheels, basically. So I do that. So that's a green one. What else have I got? I'm also community speed watching my village as well, so that's a high vis.
Oh yes,
another high vis.
I've given you a wave before.
So I've got another high vis there.
The morning I didn't have a speedo and I went past Flis. Luckily, I think I was 30 or 31 one night. I remember you texted me and I went, oh my word, I can't believe I saw you. And it was the morning, I was literally, that night, I'd got home and my speedo just wasn't working. So I was like taking the 3 miles from home to my garage. And I was like, the one time I went through. But yeah, it does show though, because I don't know, I think you can obviously tell I've driven a lot over the years because just, I like driving and I grew up in the back of my dad's car anyway, but also because I used to travel a lot for work. So I think you get an idea of what speed was, but
you do.
Do you remember going, oh, it's Flis, hello.
The
I could be going at 38 miles an hour at this point in a 30.
The amount of my friends that come through the village and then 5 minutes later when they've got to their destination, they'll text me and go, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I'm going, you're all right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
But that's an interesting one because you get a lot of, I mean, there's pros and cons. I've talked about it many a time about social media. And unfortunately, at the moment, Facebook, especially in community groups, will attract a lot of negativity. And bless her, you guys get a lot of, I can't.
Oh, we get.
I think you've been aimed at, haven't you?
Yes,
by
I've
cars?
nearly been run over twice. And for those that know Acton, we stand on the forecourt of the pub as one of our spots. And this van came out from Sudbury Road to turn right up towards Cost Cutters, and they drove onto the forecourt and nearly took my toes off. Often, I mean, we were out only the other day, and this van, they purposefully slow down and then sort of stick their fingers up at you. And bless them, some of the others on the team are like, oh, and I go, all right, and I just wave at them.
Yeah.
And we've had people challenge us about, I hope your speed gun's calibrated every day. No. Does it need to be? Well, the police is. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, really, it's not. But they all seem to think we're out to get them.
Yeah.
What we're doing is just trying to keep the children and the residents of our village safe.
Yeah.
We're not there to victimise.
No.
We are there to just keep people safe and just to remind people of the speed. Because, again, hybrid cars, electric cars, you've only got to touch the pedal on one of them and they're gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think, again, with an electric, it's hard to gauge your speed. I think when you, like you and me, when you're driving a petrol or a diesel, you get to know your car, you can normally feel the sort of speed.
You are.
The electrics, there's no gauge.
Oh, really?
There's
never driven an electric.
There's nothing to tell you what you're doing because it's so silent.
Yeah.
You're gone, and before you know it, you're doing 40 or 50.
Oh wow.
So that's all we do for the speed watch. And yes, we do report people.
Yeah.
But you're going to get a letter.
Yeah.
If you're persistent, then you are going to get a tap on the shoulder at some point.
Yeah.
But mainly, it's just that little reminder to say, hey, this is our village.
Yeah.
You know, and we just want to keep the speed down.
And I bet it's the same people that would be if they live on a main road, because I get it on mine, they roar up and down mine, and mine's the entrance to the residential home, the primary school, it was the library, the doctor's surgery, and my daughter now walks to school, but I've taught her she has to cross outside the house, because otherwise there's too many crossings on the other side to get to the school, or more dangerous. But she's crossing that road, but they roar up and down. There's loads of parked cars. So I bet it's the same people that sit on Facebook and they're just like, oh, people are roaring up and down our road, but then they'll probably roar through someone else's village.
Oh,
and
yes.
And yes, it's frustrating. I'd never, ever speed officially. But
We're all guilty
I've
of
got a
it.
smart car, so it doesn't go that fast. However, I do drive it like I stole it. So it's fine. I've only found out if you push the pedal right down, it proper goes now. But to me, it's safety. And I'm a road cyclist, so I've had people fly past me at ridiculous speeds, pull up beside me, swear at me, and it's that thing. It's like with everything. You have nice people and you have really not nice people. That's the two types of people in this world. Yeah. Same with drivers, same with cyclists. You're going to get good drivers, you're going to get bad drivers, you're going to get good cyclists, bad cyclists. But at the same time, like you say, the only point of the community speed watch is to slow down in the village.
Exactly.
And do the speed limit.
Exactly. It is.
So.
But, you know, it won't stop me doing it. It doesn't stop any of us doing it. We still go out. But I think people are angry. I think that there's a lot of anger in the world. And
There's
a
lot of anger. Everyone's in a rush.
Everyone's in a rush. So if they can just vent at somebody for 2 seconds, that's what they do.
I love that you wave at them.
I'm terrible. I am really bad. The others go, will you stop it? They're going to turn round. I went, let them.
Yeah, what they're going to do.
Let them. We have a letter that we can give to people who do stop and challenge us.
Really?
Because we get accused of hiding behind cars and all sorts.
I mean, to be fair, you guys can't be more visible. Stood right outside the pub.
I know. You couldn't miss us. But, I always remember when I was a little girl, my mum was a childminder. And one day, this little girl we were looking after, her dad was really late to pick her up. And when he walked in, he was ghost white and he was shaking. So we took her out the way and was like, what's happened? He said, I've just hit a child. And there was blood on his coat, and the child survived.
Yeah.
And he said, I was doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget his face. And I don't want to bring the podcast down, but I will never forget his face.
Yeah.
And that to me is the reason, you know, you do the speed limit, is because if you do hit a child, anything over 30, their chance of survival just goes.
Yeah.
And I've actually challenged people who've abused me at doing speed watch. And I go, have you ever seen a child run over? And they sort of, it's not very nice.
No.
So
we had it the other day outside Melford. A lady come running in with dogs. She goes, oh my God, have you got anything warm? The lorry and a lady's just hit a cat. And the lady was physically shaking. She'd run off to the vet, so I went out with a hoodie. And the cat had obviously passed away by the time I got out there. But the lady she was physically shaking. And she said, it just ran out. She goes, and I tried to brake, and I don't know, we didn't talk about speed. It was a 2-minute thing. I was one of those people who didn't help matters. I just stood there and burst into tears. I was like, oh God, I've been asked to help and I'm just bringing everyone else down. But it's that thing of saying I run early mornings. Again, found a cat at the side of the road, and there was a little receipt in it, and someone had put, I'm really sorry, this happened at 1 a.m. I didn't know what to do. I killed it instantly. It just ran out in front of me. And that's the thing. I've seen it before, things run out, you swerve, you do this, and not everyone's a good driver to be able to slow down, swerve, or know what you do, a bit like black ice, blah, 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 blah. So,
but at least if you're doing the speed limit, you're giving whatever it is a chance.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
So
but so I do my
speed
watch.
Hats?
I think
we've gone right off on a tangent.
Yeah, we did there, didn't we? No, I think I also have a green uniform for camping and caravanning club, because when we do the outdoor motorhome shows, they'll have a stand on there.
Oh yes,
and it's about recruiting new members and just talking to the benefits of joining a big camping club. And I like to talk, so I go and do that as well, because I'm already at the show, because I work for Warners, who run the show, parking the campers up. So I've got a Warners uniform as well. So where am I up to? About 5 or 6 hats.
I think we've got onto a second hand.
Oh, I tell you, yeah.
So just dispel the myth: the camping and caravanning club.
Yes.
Can anyone join?
Yes, camping and caravanning club accepts all units, from cyclists, tent cyclists, all the way up to RVs.
Okay.
Obviously, some sites can't accept an RV, but all the way up to an RV. That's an American recreational vehicle. So we do everything. Whereas in another club,
is there another?
There is another club, but I can't.
They don't take everyone.
It gets stuck in my throat. No, there is another club, and they're predominantly motorhomes and caravans.
Okay.
They don't
that'll be where the myth's from then,
yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's the camping and caravan.
Yes. Dispel that myth.
So who do you work with? Just let's concentrate on the Felicitys Driver Training.
I know. No, it is that.
On the business, on your business hat, who do you work with?
So I work with my husband, who is a retired police officer. And Andy is brilliant. He steps in and helps if I'm not well, Or when I was doing the trailers, if it was a retest, which was pretty much just taken to the test centre and sit at the test centre, he'd do that for me. But I think the biggest thing that my amazing husband does is keeps me alive. Because I have all these hats and I'm always working and my brain is always going, I'll be doing something and suddenly a plate of food gets put in front of me. I'm like, oh, I need to eat now. You know?
Yeah. I wondered why I was hungry.
and I go into the spare bedroom, which is just a wardrobe of uniform, different uniform. It's all colour coordinated, and I'll walk in and I'll have something to wear. So he keeps house, and he's an absolute superstar.
Yeah.
He would tell you that if he was here, that he has the hardest job. And he has to work the most.
Obviously.
And he also does my books as well. I do have an accountant, but he sort of does the books, and he'll do a lot of the paperwork stuff in the background. So yeah, it's a team effort. What he won't do is my blinking social media. That's what I want him to do, but he's like, no, I've seen what it's doing to you. I'm not doing it. Seen how much you do with it.
Brilliant.
So I suppose he's the one I work with.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that the business wouldn't be where it is if I didn't have the support of others. So, I mean, I've got you guys at Breakout for all my social media stuff. And I'll be
favourite bits.
be coming back again because I need more help with TikTok. Oh, TikTok. But, so there's that. It's Easy websites. So that's Oliver Brock. I've had my It's Easy website for years. And it's got all its SEO for East Anglia, some of the home counties, Kent. That's it. I had a web inquiry from someone just off the M62.
Brilliant.
And can I go to them? No.
Yeah.
I've had Swindon, Exeter. So I don't know what's going on, but I seem to be spreading.
But they're keen.
They're spreading. So my website's lovely, and I had a redesign last year, 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm going to upgrade it as well.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of domain names as well that feed in as well, so that's quite good. Then I've got Darren from DL Design.
Oh, I love Darren.
Darren's a superstar. So this is Darren. All my uniform and designing it. He's also done me certificates, so I do give people that have attended my courses a certificate just in case their insurance company will accept it for a bit of discount, so I do that. Top Marks uniform, they're in Sudbury, they're the ones that actually provide it, so if I do need a few extra tops I can go straight to them.
Yeah, they're the old Chiltern Office Supplies guys, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are, yeah. Sudbury Caravans, Ben Cutting. I would be absolutely lost without Ben. The amount of times I've gone, Ben, help!
Please,
Something's wrong with my caravan. So he keeps the caravan on the road, and he has done the trailer in the past, and he's done the motorhome as well. He's an absolute legend. I've also got Lookers Ford. They keep my car on the road, and bless them, they ring me up if there is a problem. They ring me up and they go, "Hello, Mrs. Spink." I go, "Is this going to cost me?" Well, I went, no.
Yeah. How much?
How much? And they are good. I had a headlamp go.
Oh, yeah.
And that was going to be nearly £1,000.
I was going to say Ford headlamps.
And then they rang me back and they went, "You're going to like this. We've realised it's not the headlamp, it's the unit, it's the module at the back, so it's only going to be £500. So I'm with the customer. I'm going, "I love you," like this down the phone to Lookers Ford. So they are really good. And before now as well, when the car was having to go to test, if you have any lights come up on a dashboard, it can be turned away from a test.
Oh, okay.
Even like an oil service light, even if it's booked in, they can be that funny.
Oh, wow.
But Lookers were great because I could go in, they knew it was booked in, they'd turn the warning light off for me so I could take it to test. So they were just superb and they still are. I've just done all my stuff for my YouTube channel. So I've been working with Matt Mallet from JRM Photography and Brian Abram from Red Carpet Video. Bizarrely enough, my husband worked with Matt in Essex Police, and I worked with Brian when I was in Ministry Defence Police.
Oh, wow.
So,
small world.
I know. So we've come back together, and they have done my videos, which are just finishing being edited to go on my YouTube channel. Who else? I suppose...
You're keeping Chiltern Industrial Estate going.
Well, I work...
By the sounds of all of those.
They're all up there. And then I've got a very patient farmer, my friend Nick Miller, who lets me... He runs Acton Sand and Soil.
Oh, yeah.
because I'm forever outside his house reversing caravans and trailers. But everybody's fear when towing is meeting something down a single track country lane and they can't reverse it. And up round where Nick is, it's just perfect. So bless him, he's so patient with me because I'm forever blocking the lane. So that's them. And then I've also got, you've already had him on, Scott from Edge Physio.
Love you, Scott.
Because when I do put my back out, my hip out, or anything else out, he puts me back together again so that I can keep working. So, yeah, I suppose I think that's most of them. I apologise. I feel like I'm on the old Radio 2.
Yeah.
What was it? The old quiz that used to be on in the morning. And anyone who knows me.
And everybody else.
Yes, but thank you. And honestly, those people, I couldn't work without those guys and girls. They just. But
I think that helps, especially when you're on your own in your own business. Is then having that team, reliable team around you, that actually you can pick up the phone and go, can you help? I was having the conversation yesterday with a gas and plumbing engineer, and we were saying it's this time of year. I mean, it is later, November, but everyone's now putting their heating on, and of course their boilers going pop.
Yep.
And we were saying the number of people that ring up and they're like, oh my God, you've got to come out today. It's like, I'm sorry, have we worked with you before, sort of thing? And it's like, if you haven't got that relationship, I mean, one of them was an outside tap issue. It's like, I'm really sorry, I'm not coming out today for that. I've got people without hot water and heating. They're the priority. Yeah. Oh, well, you were recommended on Facebook. Well, yeah, I can come and help, but not right. That's not urgent, and we've not done business before. And he said, if it's someone who will religiously have their boiler serviced every single year, it's a different relationship.
It is.
You need that team around you so you can rely on them.
Without a doubt. I can literally pick up the phone to anyone and get myself sorted out quite quickly.
Because then your business doesn't stop, because that's the one thing you don't want to happen. It's like you say, rocking up to a test and you get turned away because of a light. You can't have that.
No.
So.
Not at all.
So what would you say your biggest success to date is?
I think it's finding this niche, and I'm going to sound big-headed, but doing well with it.
It's not big-headed.
I think
confirming.
If I hadn't become a driving instructor, I wouldn't have fallen into everything else that I've done. I used to be a supercar instructor as well. So
of course you did.
If any of
hat.
If any of you have had those red letter days, go and drive a Lamborghini 3 laps around a circuit, well, it would have been me sat in the passenger seat with you.
That's cool.
So I've done that, but it didn't fit with everything else I was doing in the end. But
I did a mini stunt driving.
Oh yeah.
Before. I haven't done supercars, but I have done mini stunt driving to learn how to like donut and flip it and do it. Is it a J turn?
Yeah.
And you I love that.
It's great fun, isn't it? It's great fun. And I did enjoy doing it. I loved doing it. And the guy, I'm still in touch with the guy that ran the company, but unfortunately he lost everything in lockdown. Yeah. Lost the whole lot. Another company has set up and taken all his cars and it's running, but it's not the same. It's not the same team. So I sort of moved away from that. But no, I think it is. I loved being a driving instructor, and I've still got my badge. I could set up again as a driving instructor tomorrow if I wanted to. But now I've found this niche. Bizarrely enough, you don't need any qualifications to do what I'm doing, which is great. It really validates you, doesn't it? So that's why I've kept the badge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love what I do.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing people do say is you can tell how much you like doing what you do.
Yeah.
Because as the day goes on, I won't be just talking about driving the motorhome. I'll be going, right, so when you park up on this beach in Portugal, and they'll be going, oh, can I do that? I'm going, yeah. I know a few places you can go, but don't do this and don't do that, and you'll be left alone, and be courteous of the neighbours, and think about this. And I'm not selling the lifestyle. I'm sharing the lifestyle because I live it and I absolutely love it, and so it comes across in all my training. Yeah. And I can't think what the saying is. If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life again.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Apart from the social media. That's what that's what it feels like to me. I just love it.
But also I think then if you love the people you're working with, and like you say, you've been able to real niche down, and do you know what? they're people who genuinely are like sponges that really want to learn. Irrelevant if you've got a certificate of qualification or not, you've got all this experience and you live it. So then you've got your passion and your drive.
Yes.
And you can't... We had someone ask the other day what Andy's qualifications in websites were. And I didn't know what to say. I was like, is there such a thing as a qualification in a website? Like, it's not an accountant. Like,
was there an MVQ you could have done?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, no, but he has been doing it for like, I don't know, 20, 30 years. I don't. I said it's his experience, his drive and passion. They went, well, he said he couldn't code. No, he can't code. But if you need a fully coded website, we can tell you where to go with that.
Yeah.
But then that's not a qualification. It's learning experience specific, very specific niche market.
Yeah.
So that person will be experienced. And, and you're like, and I'm very passionate about that. I've got MVQs and other bits and pieces, but actually I'm not great at it as exams. I did my purchasing certificate to buy stuff, as I call it. It's not certificate in purchasing and supply diploma of how many years I did that. I struggled on the law one because I'm not very black and white in life, but I'm not great at those kind of things, but I've got the passion and the drive to do it. And I'll tell you something, and I think that's what you do. You'll explain it, live the lifestyle, explain the lifestyle, but explain it so it's interesting. Because if you've got people that come to you, and they don't have to come to you, it's not law anymore. No. But you're not just saying, oh, this is legally, this is how you jack this. Yep. It's just, for me, I'm not engaged in that. I'm just not gonna.
No, and I think that's.
And you can't teach passion.
No, you can't. You can't. And this is what I've noticed with the other club. Everyone in the camping and caravanning club, all the instructors there, and obviously my own business, me and Andy, we are hobbyists.
Yeah.
And we're also members of camping and caravanning club. So we feel like we're just out for the weekend helping members learn a new skill. Yeah. Whereas other providers, and I'm not disputing that they can't teach, but they're not hobbyists.
No.
So I can be going around this one-way system, and if they're towing okay, we'll be chatting about something else, and I'll be asked how to empty a chemical toilet.
Yeah.
Other providers, because they're normally HGV, etc., they do the other categories, they can do driving. Yeah. They can do hitching up, but they can't do living. Yeah. Living the dream.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what sets me aside what I do, and that's what sets the club aside. But Andy, my husband, will always say, he said, what makes my business is me.
Yeah.
Because I'm female in a very male-dominated world.
Yeah.
We've got, even at the NEC, we had an expert panel on every lunchtime. And my mate was on there, Motorhome Matt. And I said, I'd love to be on that stage lunchtime. He said, well, you should be. I said, I won't get on there. He said, why not? I said, because I haven't got enough followers. Yeah. I'm not an influencer. And he went, no, but you do know what you're talking about. And I went, yeah, I'm not disputing that, but I won't get up there.
Yeah.
And he said, what was wrong with that picture, though, Flis? I said, what, you mean apart from the fact it was a panel of middle-aged balding men? And he went, yes, and I will accept that I was one of them. But it was true.
Yeah.
There was ladies up there, but they were talking about their travels and their adventures.
Yeah.
They weren't talking technical.
No.
And that seems to still be very male dominated.
It will just take us back a few decades, to be fair.
It does. But then the whole industry.
To make the tea.
The whole industry is predominantly middle-aged, middle-class, white people.
Yeah.
That's the hobby. We are starting, you can see diversification.
Yeah.
It is getting there, but it's still, of all the other hobbies out there.
Yeah, it's behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, you ask Ben, I'm the one that puts our tent up. He can do it. I mean, it'll take him bloody ages. So I'm like, right, I'll do the tent. And I'm a bit of a control freak. It has to be right. But I'm the one like, right, you go and put a tea on while I start the tent and everything else. Okay, he does the van, but that's precious. So I'm not allowed to touch the van. I'm allowed to drive it. But yeah, I'm the one that does all that. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. It's just that to have you up there talking technical, but you can talk your travels, you can empty a chemical toilet, you can know how to park up, you know how to level up, you know how to, what the funny stringy thing is, that the safety thing.
The breakaway cable.
Breakaway cable!
The
See?
stringy. Well, I was getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, proving my point by talking girl. There we go. But it's that, and that's how it should be. And ultimately, people in that audience will listen to you more because it's not another middle-aged white balding male.
Exactly.
You're a point of difference.
Yeah.
And just by doing what you're doing, whether you've got a tick box or qualification or what it is completely irrelevant, because you do it, you live it, and you can teach it. And that's why you will do and are doing so well, because it's you and unique and you've done it your way. So then you attract the clients that you'll get on really, really well with.
Yeah.
You won't get clients that you think, that was my business plan. What are your clients going to be? Who are you going to attract? Not horrible people. You don't want to attract horrible people. There's still people that don't get me. I've had clients in running their business. One of them was a driving firm. I gave them the same chat I give to everyone, and it's not been taken on board, so they're not posting on social media, they're not doing anything. I do see them out and about. I know I do work for a driving school that are doing really, really well. We promote them, but it's one of those things at the moment you don't really need to promote.
No, I was going to say at the
you're
moment
inundated, but they're getting loads and loads of passes, so we obviously promote that. But at the same time, it's choosing who you listen to and what advice you take.
Yeah.
If you're taking advice from someone just because they've got 10,000 followers, it's kind of like, well, okay, do they know their stuff, or have they bought those followers, or have they done follow for follow? And I get people come in and they're like, right, I want at least 5,000, 10,000 followers. I'm like, okay, why? Because I've only got 1,200, but I could probably scroll through a lot of them and go, yep, worked with them, they've been in, done that with them. And said, and it's that quality that you want, not the quantity. And actually, yes, some brands do recognise it, a lot don't. You can go to brands, send me this for free, do this, do that. But if they're engaged, and they are starting to learn, they need to look at people's engagement, because you can, and that's how you find it on social media. If they've got tens of thousands of followers, great. If they've then got 50 likes and one comment, they've bought their followers. Yeah. They're not engaging with them. They're not interested in them. YouTube for you is going to be really, really interesting, because for our Instagram, 80% is female. Our YouTube, over 90% is male.
Okay.
So it'll be really, really interesting to see. Once you look at the analytics, YouTube's so more male dominated as a social media channel compared to Instagram. Yeah. And that's where I'm like, it will be interesting to see how it's going to go, because I'm setting up the YouTube channel, because at the moment, once someone's been to see me, I send an email afterwards, and it is like War and Peace and loads of attachments. I have to send the certificates separate, because otherwise it won't send. That's how bad it is. Brilliant. Because I'm trying to condense everything I've said in an email. So what I want to do is cut the email down a lot, because I want to send them to the YouTube channel. So if you want to refresh on anything, go and have a look at the videos. So it's going to be a reference library for my existing customers. Yeah. And then for those that then find me, they can watch it, go, I can do that, go away, practice it, mess it up, and ring me because they need a course. Yeah. So that's how I'm viewing it. And in time, I will be putting on how to empty a chemical loo. I'm probably going to do that when I'm in the warmth. Yeah. In the next few months. And then, simple things like levelling a motorhome, there's a video for that, and that's all going to start to go on there. But even while you're away, there's so much that you'll do day to day which you won't like you were saying, packing and loading a motorhome. I wouldn't have to know how to do that. How do I do that so my glasses don't smash? How do I do that? And you see, if you think on Instagram, you see a lot of them, they'll do the time lapse of when they've converted their, whether it's transit van or whatever, how the ones that are travelling all around the world, well, how have you fitted your whole life in there? Well, actually, it's kind of the flip that this isn't our whole life, but this is how we live in a motorhome, and this is where everything goes and how we pack it and what we do, how we unpack it, where we can park, what can you legally do.
Well, I was going to do a video getting onto the tunnel.
Yeah.
And then just do a little voiceover of what to do, because a lot of people are scared about trying to drive onto the Eurotunnel, or Le Château, as it's now been renamed.
The Channel.
So that's what it used to be, the Channel.
It was the Channel.
It was the Channel when I lived in Ashford, but now it's Le Château. They've changed it. So yeah, I have my plan for my social media for the next few months.
It's exciting.
So yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna go. And again, when I was at the NEC, I forged links with Motorhome Matt. I mean, I met him a few months ago when I was wearing my utility warehouse top. Forgot about that hat.
Oh, we forgot about that hat. Both of us forgot about that hat.
That one.
Purple hat.
That's purple. So I was wearing my utility warehouse at a motorhome show. I had a stand, and this bloke's walking towards me, and I went, "It's Motorhome Matt." And he went, "Hello, you one of my followers?" And got chatting.
Yeah.
And we're now really good friends, and he's very big on social media. And he said, right, well then, let me help you. Let's work together. And he is aware that the industry is very male-dominated, and he's helped a solo female traveller, Wandering Bird, monetise her life.
Yeah.
And he's helping Pink Motorhome Tours, who are designated, they are for solo females who are nervous of going abroad, going onto the continent.
Yeah.
And so he's going to work with them, and there's a couple of other people, again, females, because he's conscious that we need that into the industry, more females in the industry. So yeah, next year is going to be it's going to be exciting. There's going to be loads coming up, so
much.
It'll be good.
So what's been your biggest challenge or learning, apart from breaking through a male dominated industry?
I think my biggest challenge is,
and your business going overnight because of the law,
saying no.
Yeah.
Saying no is my biggest challenge, and time management. Because in my head, if I'm not teaching, I'm not working.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've got a day off today. No, I've got admin to do. I've got social media to do. I've got stuff to do. But no, I'll be like, oh, day off. Come on, Andy, let's walk over to Melford. Let's go to the tea rooms and have a cake and a cuppa. Let's walk the dog. And so that's my big thing, is time management. So there is a plan to actually put in the diary for next year the dates that I am prepared to work.
Yeah.
We've already committed every weekend from March till the end of May to the Camping and Caravanning Club.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, and it's in Coventry, so we've got traipse up there every weekend. But they're very short staffed, so if we can't do it, they won't run. So that means I've then got days during the week. So Andy said, well, Fridays and Mondays we travel.
Yeah.
He said, you need a day for admin. I said, I can't have just 2 days in the diary for work. That's never going to work. I can do 7 days a week in March. How am I going to fit that into 2?
Yeah.
But we've also discussed about working smarter. So our motorhome courses will double up, because motorhomes, Andy can take one, I can take one.
Yeah.
So we'll get 2 through on one day.
Yeah.
My half-day sessions, I normally start at 10, but my half-day sessions will start at 9 and finish at 12, and then my second one I can fit in 1 till 4.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work smarter and not harder. So we've got to sit down with a sangria and work out what our availability is next year.
And you need big red crosses when you're not working.
Yes.
And I think that's the most common thing for people that run their own business, is saying no, because you don't. And I think part of that will be almost a hangover of what happened in 21, of just, you don't know what's around the corner. You've experienced that like overnight gone. So actually it's that, well, we can need to keep working because then the income comes in and it's my business, etc. But actually, if you run yourself ragged, you're kind of no use to anyone at some point.
Oh, I normally go,
shattered.
I normally do go bang twice a year.
Yeah.
It's normally around May, June time. I'll get a really bad cold and I'm really run down because the spring is really busy.
Yeah.
And then all the motorhome shows and the NEC kick in.
Yeah.
And I was actually quite poorly throughout the NEC this year. And
I remember that.
And I wasn't great, afterwards with that. So, yes, it's just trying to pace myself a lot more. And the one thing Andy's always said to me is, when the shop is shut, The shop is shut.
It is shut, yeah.
If Tesco's is shut and someone needs milk, they don't go into Tesco's and get milk. And I'm like, yeah, but. He's going, there's no buts.
It's so much like me.
But it's true, isn't it? It
yeah.
is true. And it's getting that mindset. You know, if people do ring me up, I will always do my best to help them.
Yeah.
But a bit like the tap and the broken heating with the engineer,
Yeah.
you ring me and say, I need a course next week, you've got no chance.
Yeah.
Because I am booked months in advance.
Yeah.
I can tell you by the time I come back from my extended holiday, we won't be specific about how long I'm away. When I come back from my extended holiday, I will have probably end of Feb, March, April, and well into May fully booked before I even start work again.
Yeah. And that's your success. It's not followers. That's your success, being that booked up. But at the same time, it's that knowing, because you being that poorly is your body going, whoa. And as much as you say those weekends are a hobby, you're working.
I'm still working.
And you're peopled out, you're socialed out, peopled out. Because it's the same as what I do. I get in from work and I just have to sit in a dark room.
You do?
Because it's especially at home, the minute I go home, I've got an 8-year-old. There's not a lot I can do on my own. Mum. We joked on holiday. It's like, should we do a press up? Every time she says, Mum. No, that's not a fun game. I nearly broke after half an hour. I was like, this is a silly idea. But it's that thing of just I think people forget how much phone, message, email, WhatsApp message.
Oh, it's just...
Facebook message, Instagram message,
Google message.
It's just, and then real people in real life, it's a lot, and it's your brain switching, and because you've got all the hats as well, it's like, well, I'm answering in this hat, I'm answering in that hat. But also, that's where we'll be our own worst enemy, because if you're answering something at 8 at night, and I will answer things, I was emailing yesterday while Emily was swimming on a Sunday, so... But I don't help myself because then, like, oh, she's available on Sundays.
There is that.
It's my choice, but at the same time, I have to do it. So I fit everything. It's just, it's fine. It's difficult to find that balance.
It is. I mean, normally I can ignore phone calls and emails over the weekend, especially on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I answered one yesterday because it looked like they wanted a gift certificate, which we do, gift vouchers, for a course for next year. So I wanted it as a Christmas present. And, of course, I need to get it in the post because I'm disappearing shortly. So I answered that one. But most of the time, I'm quite confident not to answer them.
Yeah.
But then Monday morning at 8:30, they're ringing me.
Yeah.
I sent you a web inquiry. Yeah, I know. We haven't answered me. No, it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
It was my day off.
Yeah.
It was my day off.
And that's the problem with social media and stuff. People think you're 24/7.
Yes.
You're always on it. And it's like, no. And I've learnt now, if clients are that, not narky, but are a bit too pushy, I'm more than happy to say no. Do you know what? I know how this relationship's going to start, and that's not how I work.
No. I mean, most of mine, as I say, they're those that need something urgently.
Yeah.
If I can fit them in, I will. But if not, I used to fret about it. I used to feel I was letting them down. What would they think of me? I'm not being very professional. But now I'm realising, well, what physically could I do apart from creating an AI image of myself? There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
I am fully booked. There is just me. I do one-to-one. That is...
And some of that is where the YouTube channel will come into play of like, oh, in the meantime, watch this video.
In the meantime, have a look at that. So, yeah, it'll... So, yes, I think that's
Say no in a big red pen.
Yes, I think they're my biggest challenge. That and social media. And I know I've gone on and on and on and on about social media.
You love social media. Everyone loves social media.
I'm surprised your ears aren't burning. Because when I'm having a session of doing it all, I'm sitting there going, that bloody woman. She makes me do this. But I've come up... It's given me confidence.
Yeah.
I'm still not doing enough reels. I was going to do one as I was leaving here today, so I need to do that. But I put one on, I'd forgotten it, I'd even scheduled it, about the worst bits about caravan incident this morning. And I've got engagement on that, and I've answered them all as well. Because there's not millions and millions, so I can answer them. And that's building that really well. TikTok, why can you not mute TikTok? on Instagram, you can press the little microphone in the corner of the video, and it shuts the F up. Why is it on TikTok you cannot do that?
Just turn your volume right down.
I turn it on and it just, I have to get off. It's
Yeah.
too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
And then my grandson, he's following me on TikTok, and I'll put something on and he'll go, oh, Nanny, have you seen how many followers you got on that? How many likes you got on that? And I went, yeah. What you need to do is something silly and then you'll get loads of... I went, no, that's not what I'm trying to portray. Yes, but people like stupid things. I said, well, then maybe TikTok's not for me.
Yeah, the bloopers.
Yes.
It is the bloopers.
But I don't know.
But then it's that if it's not for you, you don't have to be on it.
No, and I'll give it a go.
Yeah,
I will see how it goes.
It would be more bloopers. That's what it's a bit like dash cam footage. Mine pops up. I've obviously watched a couple of them, and it's just people's dash cam footage of people doing really awful things on the road, and I can watch that for hours. So yeah, it's just finding. But with anything, it's finding the niche. But it's the same with you. If it's, as I always say, it's better for you to do all your social media because it's you. If it comes a time when it's that too much, that's when we can step in and help. But then we still need the content from you.
Exactly, so I might as well do it myself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how we work. Cut out the middleman. But there's ways and means around it. For one client, we just do their messages and engagement. Because the messages are, okay, actually, you need to call, it depends what the client wants to call this number, email this address, or links to a video or whatever the answer is. And once you've got all that content, it's that. So it just takes, it's with any business, it's taking away what doesn't serve
what
you.
What guzzles your time, what takes your time.
And actually, you need to be on a 3-hour half-day course, not sat there replying to comments on social media.
Mine is my hashtags. I did start writing them all down in my little book, I think. Oh, it's somewhere in here.
Hashtags.
Yeah, just because you'd said about putting... Let's see.
Yeah.
So I've gone through and I'm starting to just research my hashtags just so that I can have them.
Yeah.
Because they don't all come up as saved lists on different devices, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
And I just need to know straight away they're my hashtags every time.
Yeah.
So again, there's that consistency. So no, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I've got a plan for December. I'm going to do advent calendar.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be something every day in December, either a top tip or an essential bit of kit.
That you
need.
I like that. And then
I've-
you have to link. You could get an Amazon affiliate account
I've looked at Amazon affiliate. I'm not big enough yet.
to buy the kit.
I didn't think I'm big enough yet.
No, you'll be able to do it because I've done it. If you've got a
okay.
business account. Oh, we'll have to look at that. Look.
Oh, okay, that might
Because
be...
then if you share the kit, you can do a link.
Yeah, and then you get a commission on it, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, we'll look at that.
Well, there'll be loads of stuff I could put in.
Well, exactly.
Because I have looked at it. Because
Yeah.
there's another influencer out there, I'm not going to name them, and they've done it.
Yeah.
And it is things like levelling ramps, electric leads, toilet
Stuff you can
fluids,
just
that
get
kind of
off of.
stuff. But it is,
Yeah.
it's stuff they need,
Yeah.
and it's stuff that would save me writing a blooming list on my really long email I send out.
And then
So-
you just put your Amazon kit list and then you share your list. So then they can go and buy loads of stuff off the same list.
Okay, I'll be back then next year. We'll get that up and running.
Or you find a supplier you know and love and ask them, would they do a deal or an affiliate deal? Okay, this is what I'm doing throughout December. Would you set us up with, it doesn't need to be a commission, just whatever the agreement is, but something back just for solely sending everyone your way.
So that's
You
just
know,
like
the
creating a
shop of-
discount code, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they'll be able to track what comes in on the discount code.
Or an affiliate link on their website. So depending on if they understand it or not, you could do a www.breakoutservices.co.uk/Felicitys Driver Training, and then that links. So then they go to that, but it still then redirects to the shop, so they can see how many people come in by clicking on your link.
So you
Anyway,
just
overwhelm you.
So my brain wasn't bad enough.
It's all right, you're going. Well,
I'm going to go home and Andy's going to go, so how did it go? Well, I've got more on my to-do list.
He doesn't know where I live, does he? I wanted a holiday.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, there's another. Oh dear. I'm sorry, Andy. This is my public apology to you. I've tied her up. Is it just
More work.
Yeah. I'll buy you a takeaway so you don't have to cook one night. Oh dear.
But it's all about working smarter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, why not get a commission and a drawdown from something
Yeah.
else just by using a link or having
Yeah.
a shop front as such?
And ultimately, if you've got that as a passive income, it takes the pressure off to work 7 days a week.
Exactly.
And travel for more extensions.
I mean, it's a way off on YouTube, but that's a part of the intention with YouTube as well, is
Yeah.
if I could get that to monetize, if it was good enough.
Yeah.
It's about I've learned you cannot have all your eggs in one basket.
No,
I
you
learnt that
can't.
very painful lesson in lockdown,
Yeah.
because driving instructors were the first off the road
Yeah.
and they were last back to work. We were the same as hairdressers and beauticians.
Yeah.
And I learnt the hard way. And because I was independent and I had no premises and no nothing, I got very little from the government.
Yeah.
So that's why I started Utility Warehouse, and that's why I'm now trying to have all these different income streams.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Just to
covered, 'cause we
future-proof
don't know
myself.
what's
You
around the
don't.
corner.
We've had one pandemic. I doubt that's going to be the last we'll ever see in our lifetime.
No. Oh God, no. So, what's your current biggest problem in your business?
Land.
Land. Is this another hat, or are we?
No.
Are we buying land?
I would love to buy land, but if I bought land, my prices would go up considerably. I do use a public car park to teach in, and they are very patient with me, and at the moment tolerating me. But that could change, and I've got nowhere else to go.
Okay.
I was using the car park of Suffolk Steel up by B&Q.
Oh yeah.
Brian up there was absolutely lovely, let me use it of a weekend because it was empty. But they've had to improve their security and they've put a massive fence around it now, so I can't use it. But when I was there, it was excellent because I was safe, I was off the road.
Yeah.
Even where I am now, because it's public, people come and walk their dogs, people come and use the bottle banks.
Yeah.
And as I say, we get along, everything works fine,
Yeah.
but it's a single point of failure.
It's a risk.
I am using the lorry park in Sudbury. I meet the motorhomes there
Yeah.
just because I don't want to take them up the driveway where I do work because it's quite narrow. I don't want to scratch them. But recently, Waitrose has been done up, so there's been loads of porta cabins in the car park.
Yeah.
And if it's busy with lorries, I've got nowhere to move there either. Got thrown out of B&Q. Quite ceremoniously.
Oh, really?
So, and then they've gone and put We Buy Any Car up in the top of the car park as well.
I saw that the other day.
So it is land.
Land.
I would love, this is my appeal, people,
Yeah.
whoever's listening, this is my appeal, is I would love to be able to have somewhere that I could use. I can't rent anywhere because I'm not there all the time.
Yeah.
It would be almost like a pay-as-you-go.
Yeah.
A farmer who's got a corner of a farmyard that would tolerate me being there. And obviously I would pay as I went to be there.
How much? What sort of size do you need? How big?
I need probably, it would be not much smaller than the lorry park in Sudbury. So it would be a substantial yard.
Yeah. Decent sized yard.
Yeah. And I have seen a few around and I have approached a few landowners and some have quite rightly said, no, I don't want you on my land, and that's fine. I've got no problem with that. But I haven't trawled round the industrial estates recently to see if there's any yards that are empty of a weekend, and then I could maybe approach them to work because I have public liability insurance, so I could do it. But it is also during the week because weekends at the moment we're committed to the club, it is having somewhere during the week. But land is expensive, yards are expensive.
Yeah.
And
Most
unless
people
I
like to build on them, don't they?
well, they do, and I think unless I then branched out the business into, if it was big enough, into caravan and motorhome storage.
Yeah.
But then you've got the investment of all the security that goes with that, and it just gets out of control, really.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot. So that's my biggest challenge and I suppose my biggest worry. Every morning when I go into my car park that I work in, as I drive up, it's like, what state's this car park going to be in?
Yeah.
Can I use it today?
Yeah.
And
Because
that's
not that big either, is
No.
it? And compared to the lorry park in Sudbury.
But we manage.
Yeah.
We manage, and I work round a lot of things, and a lot of my customers actually quite like it because they watch me come in, spin this caravan around, and they're like, I never knew you could do that with a caravan in such a small space. So there's a lot of learning that takes place.
And that's quite a big confidence builder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably the biggest thing. Or even getting down to the lorry park. God, that freaks me out, getting a smart car down there, of dodging pedestrians and
and that's under threat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a health centre, is it? They're threatening, I think.
I don't know. It's a bit like People's Park was going to be a health centre, so I don't.
So yeah, I
hold my
could
breath on
lose
things like
that
that.
as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. That's my biggest issue. So if anybody has land,
hard standing,
doesn't need to be huge,
just land,
just a bit of land.
Yeah.
And they take pity on a small business.
Welcome a small business.
Yes.
Tucked away in the corner.
I'm hoping to develop something with one landowner, but that's early days at the moment. So, but getting to it is quite difficult. So if someone's coming to have a course with you to build confidence, the last thing you want them to do is have to travel down a really narrow lane to get
exactly
there. Because they'll be in tatters by the time they get to the end of it. And you're there going, hello.
Should we start? As they're sweating.
Yes. So that's my biggest challenge.
So what, before we go as well, so what, on another plea of who's your ideal client? Like who's your want to work with your main hat on?
With my main hat, I want to now branch out. So I am actually looking at, I want to go and speak at things. So motorhome shows, caravan shows, small district association meets, anything like that. I'd like to get more into the presenting side of things. Yeah. Because again, it sounds big-headed, but I don't need any more customers. No. I can't service the ones I've got. I've got a big long list of people that need to go on to next year's calendar because I ran out of dates for them. Yeah. So yeah, it's for me now, it's about doing something a little bit different. And so I'd like to work with those kind of people. And I'm hoping that I'm going to get out there a bit more with the NEC, the organisers of the Caravan and Motorhome Show.
Yeah, get on the panels.
Get on some of the panels and get talking. The Camping and Caravanning Club like what I'm doing, but it is a small stage. Yeah. But I still had a good 50, 60 people watching. Yeah. So...
Well, it's the same thing they always say, don't they? If you had 50, 60 people ringing your phone, emailing you, it's giving that away and raising your profile at the end of the day. And even if it's 5, 10 people, still 5, 10 more people that are engaged. It's going back to that engagement rather than volume of what you want to do. So.
And then the other thing I'm doing is I've enrolled on a menopause wellness practitioner course. It's an online course for 2 reasons. One, because I'm about to start the roller coaster journey myself, and I'd like to know more about it for my own benefit. But also, I have met a lot of ladies recently on courses who are turning up to me in absolute tatters. Their confidence is through the floor, and they're upset and they're emotional, and they've all said the same thing. I never used to be like this. Yeah. And so what I would like to do is use that course and my driving experience to create almost a menopause driving course. So it's not about focusing on the menopause, it's just about giving confidence to women who, because of menopause, are struggling to get in a car. Driving anxiety, menopausal driving anxiety is a thing, and it is a big thing, and so I'd like to help women just to get more confident behind the wheel and get back to where they were. So again, it's niche.
But it's a good niche because it's needed.
Yeah.
It's so that's going to be a problem. And I think COVID compounded that as well because people stopped. I used to drive on the motorways every day, and then I went down, and now I am that passenger from hell. When we went down to Devon, I kind of held my breath on the M25 because no one's got any patience. No. The minute we got on the M4 is fine because everyone gets on the M4 and goes, oh, yeah, we know where they're going. Oh, yeah, there's a bit more
slows down a bit.
Patience and consideration. But the
M25 is awful.
Absolutely scares me because no one's got any patience. There's no empathy or compassion. Everyone's in a rush, and it is. I think that's the worst place to. I took my smart car on there last year, whenever I went down to...
You must have felt very vulnerable.
Yeah, oh my word. I was just like, people just have to... And I've had a lorry in a company car, it wasn't in my smart car, push me off because he came over. He drove off, didn't even know he'd done it, but he pushed me into the hard shoulder. Luckily, we were all right. The car was all right and drivable. But it's things like that where you're just like, he didn't even know I was there.
No.
And yeah, that's my worry, obviously, with everyone else. And that's then confidence, because you're not doing it all the time. And I'm that like passenger that sits there, goes, you know, when you're like, the brakes this side, you can't brake.
We live in a lovely place though, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, I even from my driving instructor days, taking someone to a test in Chelmsford or Colchester versus Bury or Ipswich, completely different mentality of driver.
Yeah.
I mean, how far away is Colchester?
Yeah.
But you literally cross the
Same as
border,
Bury.
and it is different mentality. Mm-hmm. So when people used to say, "Oh, I'd really like to go to Colchester," I go, "You sure?
Yeah.
You sure? Let's go Bury.
Yeah.
Well, let's go Ipswich. Why? Just trust me.
Yeah. I promise you.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
And there is. And then when you do go and drive somewhere else, you do notice it.
Yeah.
That's why I love driving on the continent.
Yeah.
It's so lovely. Yes, you do get mad drivers, but they don't get angry with each other.
No, everyone's so angry here, even in town. I think that's my biggest worry, is that it's the people getting angry with you just because you've like it's that slow down, turn the music down so you can see where you're going, and then slow down just because it's the Melford High Street's classic for that. I'm only slowing down to park and they're still angry with me. I'm like, but I'm doing everything right. I'm slowing down but I'm not going to keep going just because you want to keep going.
No. And the thing
it's
you
a
have
very
to
weird
remember,
feeling.
the biggest thing you have to remember is when somebody is getting angry with you or impatient with you, is that they will have forgotten about you in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
exactly.
don't you dwell on it, worrying what you've done to them.
Yeah,
because I can guarantee once they've gone past you, they've forgotten about you.
Yeah. They're
so
on to the next thing.
Don't let them affect you.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong.
No. What a way to end, look.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I've learnt so much.
Yeah, and I've got a bigger to-do list.
Yeah, you've got a bigger to-do list. So as always, we'll in the show notes will be links to everything Flis does. We will get the full list so we can share everything, the links. But find her on socials and look out for her videos and comment and engage on them, because it will make her do more and increase her to-do list. So as always, just share and like and subscribe for us, and definitely for something like this, if you know someone with land, but also with a motorhome or caravan or part of the club, just get in touch with Flis and like and share the podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode. We really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please share with a friend who you think needs a bit of help with starting a business, or even their small business which they've already got going. Please like and subscribe to our podcast, which always helps a small business or small podcast like us. And check the show notes. We all have everything in there relating to the episode which you might need, might want to read, and links to anyone we've interviewed and certain subjects we've spoken about. And thanks for listening.